Greetings, readers and travelers, and welcome to another episode of Stats on Stats. Today, we are looking at a dual boss encounter and Bard's Tale episode. As you know, our boss encounter is when we sit down with authors, and Bard's Tale is when we sit down with the narrators. Joining me, as always, is you know him, you might love him, you might hate him. I deal with him on a daily basis. Joel Harvey. Joel, how are we doing today?
It's me. Hi. I am doing fantastic, and I'm ready to get into some good lit RPG books.
Some good lit RPG books? I mean, we're always down for
Yeah.
some good lit RPG books. Joining us for the very first time today, I've been struggling with trying to come up with an introduction for him because the man is just a damn mad lad. But he is fun to talk to and puts out some amazing books. He is the author of Arise, Rise to Mankind, and also the Underverse series. Cajiao. Jez, how are we doing today?
Doing good, thank you, mate. Doing very good. How about you?
I'm here. I've been cleaning all day. I just told a story to Jessica and Joel about my experience with re-listening to the book today. We'll dive into that in a second. And joining us for the very first time, you've heard her on many books, such as one of the books we're talking about today, Arise. Also coming up with one of the new series is the SDCE. I can't ever think of the name. Stephen Landry put way too many books or title letters in the name. Space Corps Monster Hunters. Jessica Threet. Jess, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here and chat with you all and get to know you more. I've gotten to meet you recently on TikTok.
Steven sent me your way.
There,
that's how I found out you were on social media, was because Steven sent me to your TikTok. He's like, hey, go follow her. I was like, okay, I could do that.
Well, I'm so happy you did. So I'm glad that we got to chat and link up for this.
It's definitely, I was nervous as could be messaging actually both of you, even though Jez messaged me. But, and Stephen Landry's in the chat and just says, I blame Jeffrey. So that checks out. That checks. Can't take the blame there, can you?
Just blame anybody and everybody. As long as it's not us, it's alright.
So, before we dive into today's topic of just some of Jez's work and some of Jessica's work, we are 25 followers away from doing our first giveaway on Twitch for the year, where once we hit 200 followers, we're giving out, a complete series or up-to-date series. So, either Audible or Kindle, that's coming out of Joel and I's pocket. So you could break our banks, just saying, by getting a series that has, 15, 20, 30 books. And we're 25 followers away, I believe, from Twitter. I have to double check on that. So once we hit 200 followers on Twitter, exact same thing. So you have multiple chances to win. And of course, we'll have the limitations of once we get there. And of course, Zeckler's in the chat. Hi, Zeckler, our famous mod. Also, Joel and I have officially decided we are doing DragonCon this year. Hell yeah. We are getting our stuff booked soon, and we are going to be planning out the trip because that is going to be a fun time. So if you want to hang out with us at DragonCon, please let us know. So, whose work do we want to discuss first, Jez or Jessica? I'll let you guys pick.
Definitely Jessica.
Oh, we're talking Jessica? All right.
In the hot seat now. Let's go.
So, hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. So, you've done a lot of audiobooks. A lot more than I actually realized. Because I was going through my my library and I was like, oh, yeah, I have this book, I have this book, I have this book. And then I went over to my BookFunnel account and I discovered I have a way more than I thought I did. So,
Yep.
Which series would you like to talk about that's like one of your favorites that you've narrated?
Oh gosh. There's way too many series I love. I mean, I have loved the Arisen series, obviously, with Jez. I'm really enjoying the way that you write, by the way, sir. It's very interesting, very captivating. I like it a lot. I really am enjoying the Monster Hunter book that I just wrapped for Podium. That was great. I have a lot of favorites out there of stuff I've done over the years, like Battleborn. I'm doing a new series for System Lad called Smash the System that will be coming out soon,
Ooh.
and it's set at my favorite place in the world, Disney World. Um,
Ooh.
so
Ooh.
Chris and I are working on that right now. So.
Hold on. We're gonna have to talk about that one here in a minute because what? Okay, because I just reread some of my favorite books as from being a child, the Kingdom Keepers series. So,
Oh, those are so good.
oh my
Those are
God,
so good.
those are fantastic. But um, you mentioned Battleborn. I have to say,
Yeah.
as read, you killed it. You did a
Thank
fantastic
you.
job.
Thank
Also,
you. Thank
shout out
you.
to Dan Wisniewski because we love Dan.
Oh, I love Dan. He's a great guy.
He's
I got to go to his wedding back in October. It was beautiful. We danced the night away, all of us and everything. He's a fantastic performer, fantastic human being. I'm very fortunate that I get to do some work with him.
Well, we might have to bring you back on when I have him on the show in a couple of weeks to promote some of the stuff he's doing at Podium.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
he's super talented.
I've had Dan on the show twice now, and I absolutely adore
Mhm.
him.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I've got to throw one in there, guys. When you're talking about amazing sort of audio that you've done, Challenger's Call, Nathan A. Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I love Nate
fantastic.
Thompson so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
See, just going through my Audible, because I just got a new phone, so I had to reinstall like all of my favorites. I decided, I was like, oh, I'll just look up Jessica Threet. And one of my favorites, and of course, people are just gonna be like, oh, yep, it's a harem book. Of course, Rich is gonna like it. I Am Zeus in the Apocosmos series because I
Okay.
love that series way too much, and
Mhm.
I'm a mythology buff, so I like dealing
Yeah.
with different mythologies and everything. And of course, Greek mythology is just a win for me.
Mhm.
And plus, Dan Masters knows how to write a good book. I hope there's gonna be more in that series, just because
Yeah.
I love it. And plus, Christian J. Gilliand, fantastic narrator, love him too.
Yeah. 100%.
What would you say your like go-to narrating style like for genres would be? Do you prefer more lit RPG? Do you prefer like more like what's your
I mean, like, listen, if I could choose any genre in the whole entire world, I would honestly probably pick either normal lit RPG or young adult. I have, like, when I go to read books, I usually go to young adult books quite often. But I've had the most experience, in the various sci-fi, fantasy, lit RPGs genres. But I absolutely adore the lit RPG genre a lot.
Because we're all mad, isn't it?
not only that, but the
Prob-
systems are just so cool and unique to each
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, I think it's the world building. I love the world building in a lot of lit RPG books because it's not just like, it's just, yeah, because I mean, with writing in general and fiction writing, like the sky's the limit. You can really make up whatever you want, but I really like the way that fantasy and lit RPG does that. I love the worlds that you can create and how you can kind of almost combine like dystopian tropes with it a lot of times. And yeah, I just enjoy it.
Do you prefer more of the like isekai or I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to describe it. Do you prefer
Yeah.
more where the character is transported to the world where it's got the game mechanics, or do you like it where the mechanics are unlocked on Earth, like how they are in Arise?
Yeah, that's actually really hard. I think I guess I kind of like it when it happens on Earth a lot. I mean, obviously there's some too that are Battleborn where the world is just kind of like that. I kind of like when it's like a thing that's either unlocked in the current world a lot or it's like naturally set up in the world that is already there. Sometimes with isekai, I think it can be a little bit hilarious though about like how they get transported. Like there's a series that I did for Logan Jacobs OPMC. I'm pretty sure it was this one
Yep.
where like he took a nap
Mm-hmm.
and he woke up in the world, and I was like, what?
That's another good one. Logan Jacobs puts
So-
out way too many damn books. Between him and Eric Vall, oh my god.
Yeah. They do a great. They're churning them out. I sometimes go, do you think that they just like go up to a board and they have like a list of nouns and a list of adjectives and just throw a dart and go, all right, that's our new book series. All right, we got Dragon King. Got it. Let's go. Or Dragon Master.
Or Dragons
It's
of
like-
Asgard.
Yeah, like it's crazy how much they're able, like both of those authors and even Michael Scott Earl, he hasn't written as much like lately, but like the worlds that they can just like come up with and how often they're writing. Yeah, it's crazy to me how quickly they can turn out stuff.
And that one goes up to Joel's alley because he's the one who writes Tamer, who Joel finally got me to dive into that series.
We're I've been very, very fortunate. When I first started doing audiobooks, I did this like random book series with Chris called Her Beast. I think the whole thing was called the Beauty and the Captor or something like that. It was my very first series, and it was a very, very dark like crime mafia.
Ooh.
Almost 50 Shades of Grey meets crime mafia. Like it's really dark. It's really like really, really dark. And Eric Vall happened to listen to some of the books Chris had done, and he was like, I want to do some books with you. And Chris had this like idea of, you should do it to where the male identifying person does all the male parts and the female identifying person does all the female parts. And Eric was kind of like, okay, I can try this. Sure. All right. So we tried, we started doing that on Succubus Lord, Metal Mage, and Without Law. And it started to get really good reviews. It started to get a lot of hype. And then Michael Scott Earl found us from listening to them, and he pulled us in to do the Star Justice series. And then Logan found us I think, was it Logan found us first or Nate Thompson? I'm trying to remember how like all these authors like found us in what time period, but like slowly like that became such a big part of the genre, was like having a dual narration, and that was the style of dual narration for it.
Okay. I prefer, so it's weird because I tried listening to Tamer originally when it was just Luke Daniels.
Who's also super talented.
Super talented, but it was like once it got to like, you know, the scenes, it was like okay, like that's an interesting way to do it, but I have to be warmed up to that.
Yeah.
And I've listened to, you know, harem series where it's only like a female narrator, like Tess Irondale's or Selena K. Is that her name? I can't remember. Oh my god.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I
but
think
like
that
where,
sounds right.
Where it's her, I think she did a couple of Simon Archer's books, and I was like, okay. And then I dived into like the dual narration. Like my very first like full listen to harem series was Down by Sound Booth Theater Burlesque. It was Justin Thomas James and a few of the people. It was Jamie Hawk's Super Series. Great series. Did not know what I was getting into when I bought the 4-book box set on Audible, because I looked at nothing other than, oh, it's superheroes. Yeah, it's superheroes. Okay. Woo. So, and I missed a question in the chat because Stephen Landry asked, who's everyone's favorite Disney character? Can I say Sora? Does Sora count? He is technically Disney.
Sure.
Kingdom Hearts is my favorite game franchise, so.
I mean, I love it. I love Kingdom Hearts. I just was like, I guess you could count Sora. I mean, technically, yes. Technically, it's
I mean, Axel is the best Disney princess, so let's be real. Like,
I'd have to say Mushu.
Tangled.
Flynn Rider is a good choice.
I tell my boyfriend all the time that he looks like Flynn Rider, except for he has like a mustache too. But like his personality and everything about him is so Flynn Rider that he's like, what? He has not watched Tangled yet, so he doesn't understand.
He hasn't experienced the beauty that is Zachary Levi as Flynn Rider. Oh, that is a must watch tonight.
Okay.
See, I've got 2 kids, so for me it's a case of Disney is on a lot. Disney's on a lot.
I have the
haven't managed
case
to convert
of
them to Star Wars yet.
I don't know what the exasperation's for, because that just sounds like a great time to me.
I was gonna say I just have the case
Kids
of
will stay with you.
I like to relive my childhood, so Disney movies all the way.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching Treasure Planet when we get done tonight, so just
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I was watching Zenimation to go to sleep the other night, and they showed like the moon, and they zoomed in on the city, and I was like, that is so beautiful. I forgot how beautiful
Yeah.
that is.
be so good. Joel,
is
who's your
good.
favorite?
Yeah.
Didn't ask.
I'd have to pick Mushu.
That's a great one.
Shout out to
Dishonor
Eddie
on
Murphy.
you,
Dishonor
honor on
on
your
you,
house,
honor on your
dishonor on your
cow.
cow.
So we got a little bit of Jessica's life and being an audiobook narrator and everything.
Yeah.
Hey Jez, why don't you tell us a little bit about your writing and everything before we start dissecting some of the characters and story for Arise?
Oh God, where to start? I never tried to be a writer. I'd never tried before writing Brightblade at all, and I wrote Brightblade as therapy. It was literally a case of I was dealing with depression because I'd had lung damage. I used to be a welder, so not really something that sort of welder, author. Typically two different sort of career paths, and I was exposed to a load of chemicals, and they shredded my lungs. So I pretty much couldn't weld anymore. I had to get a real job and work in IT. And the problem with IT is that if you're a welder, if people annoy you, you can punch them in the face. And that's pretty much just accepted as this is, they annoyed you, that's acceptable. If you do that in IT, it's not so much. And there's far more people in IT that deserve a punch in the face. Just saying.
I mean, I've seen the IT crowd. I've dealt with my fair share of IT people, so.
Well, no, I mean the users. The IT people are pretty much crazy. That's fine. I can deal with crazy. It's the users who go, I don't know why this doesn't work. And it's going, have you considered it's because you're licking it? There's a lot of very, very interesting people that you work with in IT. But I was dealing with depression, though, as I was saying. It was literally a case of I'm fairly sized, but I used to be about twice the size I am now and fairly heavily muscled, and with being a welder. And when the lung damage came along, I couldn't exercise the way I used to. I couldn't do things like Tough Mudder that I'd been training for, the Great North Run that I was training for. Just literally, it's all that kind of stuff's out the way. So I got very tied up in who I am physically is a big reflection of who I am. When I couldn't be that anymore, I was quite depressed. I was quite aggressive and pissed off at the world. And my wife encouraged me when a couple of other authors said to me, like Luke Chimlenko and Alaron Kong, both told me I should try writing. And I was like, no, I'm an idiot. I can't do things like this. And I told my wife about it, sort of going, you never guess what these guys have said I should try. And she encouraged me. And she was there for me. And I did try it. And I never expected people to really enjoy it that much, but I tried it just to see if I could. And when it went well, it was great because in writing, you put a lot of yourself in these characters. And people say that all my characters have anger issues. They're all pretty dumb. And they sort of get helped through things by their female partners. And it's like, yeah, that's me. It's just different aspects.
I would say that like Steve and what is the main character from Rise to Mankind's name? I am blanking on it. Matt. I don't think Matt or Steve are like not intelligent people. I think they're a little more bulk-headed and strong and stubborn because they just use brute force for a lot of things. Now,
when you're a
definitely like, I think they definitely like let their anger take control more times than not.
Which I don't know anyone in this 4-person chat right now who does that because it's me.
For me, it was a case of I'm looking at these situations and I'm trying to see it as if it was me, if I was there in this world. Things have happened like, with Arise, for example. He's literally had his eye blended. He's been carved up. He's been stripped almost down to parts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would react well to that. I think I would have a burning need to take that rage out on somebody. And Yeah, there's a lot of aspects of that in it. But there's also that feeling that, you could turn to the dark quite easily. You could just go, right, I'm gonna do the things that I feel would be easy, and instead there's a need to improve yourself and to rise above it all and to help people, which I always think is important to have in the stories, a bit of hope.
I mean, that's fair. And I mean, so all your characters, I don't think there's one character like of the main doesn't or that I don't like. Like all of the main characters that we meet, whether it be the main protagonist or one of the counterparts, are all great. Some of the villains, though, yes, I'm glad they either die or get brutally messed up because they suck. And first
Oh,
time chat, Red Eye the Goblin says, I think anyone who says they would react well to that is lying. Well, yeah, you absolutely right.
yeah. Well, I will say that there's the next series that's coming out. So because Jessica, I think you've wrapped Prototype, haven't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I thought so. So Prototype is fairly gory and fairly different, but then the next one after this is Cyberpunk. You're on with, and I can't wait to see how you do with that one because I'm really looking forward to that. Some of the characters that are going to be coming out in Cyberpunk in this one, I think you'll dislike Captain Tyrannus quite a lot.
I started
dislike-
reading on Royal Road, your newest series, and
Yeah.
because Zeckler was asking about it, he's like, so what's the project? And I was like, oh, okay. So I just read like the description of, what Lars is writing, what Don's writing and everything. And I was like, I'm just going to start with Jez and work my way down. So it'll go Jez, then Don, and then Kevin, and then Lars, because I'm just working my way down the list and everything. And I'm on chapter three or four right now. And it's damn good.
Thank you, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
So which one's
It's
Prototype?
Prototype is the one that I did with Yonder. So Prototype
That's
is
right,
only
okay.
available on Yonder for the next 2 years.
Okay.
But the audio will be coming out, I think, September onwards. So it's a one book one. It may well expand to be other books later on in the fullness of time, but the intention was that it would just be one book.
Okay.
And it's a little bit different. There's a bit more of a mystery with it and a bit more of a what the fuck's going on here than most of my books, which are see that, go and hit it really hard. I like straightforward.
I do too.
Joel, so let's get you some of your thoughts really quickly, because you and I were trying to debate like which series we like more and everything. Why don't you fill us in?
Okay. I obviously love Lit RPG, or else I wouldn't be here talking about it. Well, okay, so
Which series of
What-
Jez are like
okay.
not let's pick your brain and pick out every single lit RPG you've ever read, Joel.
Good,
No,
because
we were
we'd
talking
be
about
here for
Jez's
days.
book.
No, so if we're just talking about Jez, my favorite book definitely has to be Arise. I think yeah, definitely. Especially with like book 2 of Arise, he just becomes this avenging angel character and it's glorious. But yeah,
I like that, the two different armor classes that he could sort of create to be two different people for the world, because the whole point of that section is that he really wants to say, he doesn't want everybody going, there he is, go after him, so he's deliberately, I do like it. He's deliberately setting it up so that there's two of us out there and try and send people off in different directions. But he definitely goes down the Avenging Angel. There's a scene in the prison where it's like,
Oh my god.
oh yeah.
Oh my god. Well, so Joel and I were trying to debate because we're trying to come up with which cosplays we want to do at Dragon Con, because we're going to do one day where we just have a cosplay. And Joel goes, oh, you could build Steve's armor. I'm not walking around Atlanta, Georgia in an armor suit like that because I
Yeah,
would be
totally agree.
dying. And he goes, put a portable AC unit in there. I was like, dude, it's not even going to fit in the car because we're driving down. I was like, we got to save room for all of our merch and stuff that we're going to be picking up because we're going to go bankrupt here. It's yeah, Joel.
You gotta admit though, that'd be like a hell of a
Oh, if I could
cosplay.
rock that like dark paladin armor, I would totally rock it. I would, because paladins are my favorite classes, and the cover of Dark Crusader is my favorite cover because it gives such Warhammer 40K vibes, and I was just like, oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect.
It's great because some of my artist Marco he works absolute miracles. Some of the stuff he does, because the way he works is he creates like sort of a bunch of sketches first of all and goes, right, what do you like about these? Which of like these 8 do you like? And then we narrow it down to 2, and then we go from there to, right, we're going to pick this one, and then let's work on that, and it gets really, really sort of detailed from that point. But some of the art that he's done as sort of the concept art is just beautiful because he is primarily a concept artist. And the stuff, I keep saying to him, look, when we've got all this sorted out, I'm just going to buy these other covers off you, and I'm just going to have them because they're that beautiful. And the whole, like, there's a scene that's done, it's when he has, at the end of book 1, where Steve has gone and he's found Ingrid, and he's basically smashing his way through the building. And there's a scene of him standing there, sort of just a bit like, I'm going to fuck these bastards up. And it's just like, I just love that.
So we're going to talk about a few scenes really quickly in here, because I got to pick your brain a little bit, and I'm going to ask Jessica too, just because it goes both ways for writing and narrating in this aspect, because listening. So when you write certain scenes, or just when you're narrating certain scenes, do you have like a soundtrack playing in your head of, oh, this song would be perfect for this moment? For example, the scene where he ramps the bike off of the pier to go save, what is her name? I want to say Mia.
No, I can't. I don't know. I wrote it. It wants down in my brain. It's gone.
I can't think of. It's the chick who's drowning out in the tide. Yeah. I can't think of her name. It's not Ashley.
Marie?
Is it Audrey?
No, Marie or Amanda?
Marie and Amanda, yes.
Marie and Amanda, yeah. So when he's ramping the bike off of the pier and everything to go and get them, the entire time that scene is happening, I'm just hearing "Can You Take Me Higher" from Creed playing in my head the entire time. And it's right as the bike takes off and everything, that's when, "Can you take me higher?" Like, that's what I hear in my head for that scene.
Okay, for that scene, literally that scene, I was working, I was down in, it was when I was in London, actually. It was when I was forging my Naginata. So I'd got that back from the editor, and I was working through edits. And so you're reading through it, and because of the way I work, I don't plot, I just write. Mm-hmm. I just sit down, I basically build a scene in my brain, and then I press play, and I just follow what happens. I don't plan out what's going to happen a lot of the time. And so it means that when I'm rereading these things, sometimes I'm like, that's cool, where'd that come from? I've fucking seen that before. And it's when people ask me questions, I'm going like, oh, do you do this because of this? I'm like, yes, I did. I've got no fucking clue. But that scene in particular came on when I was listening to a song called Turbo Boost by Grail Knights. And the Grail Knights are this crazy German band who are fucking batshit. And I listened to the Turbo Boost as they were doing this. And I was like, fuck, that fits with this, that fits with this, that fits with this. Whoa. And I reached out to them. I reached out to the Grail Knights and said, look, guys, can I use your music in an advert? Because it fits so well and I really liked it. And they went, yeah, fuck it, use it. So they gave me the rights to use it in an advert. So I did a little sort of video, like a cartoonish, like sort of a sketched advert, which we did a little while ago, which has the Grail Knights music to it. It's fucking brilliant.
Oh my god, that is amazing. So Jess, what about you? Do you have like a soundtrack or a song that you would pick for certain scenes that when you're narrating?
So I don't have particular, because there's so many words already that I'm either speaking or listening to absorb the like scene. When I'm like actively reading, I don't really think of songs with words unless it happened. Okay, so there are times where like something will happen and like in the dialogue or in whatever, it will be a lyric from a song, and then I'll like jokingly break character with Chris sometimes, or whoever I'm narrating with, and sing the song. Like a lot of times whenever I hear stop, I'll be like, in the name of love, just because, or stop, collaborate and listen, like all of that I'll like randomly do. But most of the time, especially in like really heavy scenes, I do think of like scoring. Like I think more scores from movies like Inception and The Hobbit, things like that, that kind of match the theme of the scene. But I don't think of like this song by Korn or this song by Mozart or whatever. I'm thinking more like here's like the vibe and the like tonal qualities that I feel like go with this scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's much like that for me
But
when
when
I'm
I
reading.
read, when I like read just for fun, like
Mm-hmm.
picking a book up, I definitely have songs that go in my head to a scene.
Okay. Like, because I always have like a soundtrack playing for like to where the movie just pretty much turns into like the scene just turns into like a 2000s action movie. So like the scene
Yeah.
where at the end where he's going after Ingrid and says he's gonna beat all these bastards. Down with the Sickness. No music or anything. Or no lyrics or anything, just the music for Down with the Sickness is playing as he's just powering his way through, killing as many things as possible. That's like my go-to thing. Like what was it? There was one of the books I was listening to not too long ago, and I'm Still Here from Treasure Planet started playing. So that song's been actually stuck in my head for the past 3 weeks now. Oh my god.
I've been listening to, with writing Cyberpunk, I've been listening to a lot of Cyberpunk style music. So things like the soundtrack from Darktide, the game, listening to a lot of Aim to Head is brilliant for that. So I write different feelings. So things like for the Underverse series, a lot of that is audio. It's Worlds of Wonder by, oh god, I'm going to try and remember this. It's audio something. Worlds of Wonder. What the hell is it that I've been listening to? Playlists. Recently played. Oh god, it's gonna bug the shit out of me if I can't find that. Bug me for days, honestly. It's one of those where I'm like, oh no! Recently played Worlds of Wonder by Audio Machine.
Okay.
For some of, so different feelings, very much like that's very upbeat and like wow. While you're looking at the violent side of things, I really how you change that around, and it's really sort of banging music, and yeah, it changes very much because you can see when you're writing it, when you read it back, you can see the difference when the music's right. It feels right, and it seems to flow totally differently.
Gotcha. Huh. I mean, it's just I don't know. Like anytime I'm listening to a book or something, that's like it just for some reason a scene just pops in my head. I've been working on my first audiobook, and some of the scenes like I hear the scores and stuff in my head because it's a fantasy book and everything, and I'm just like ooh. I'd definitely be making Hans Zimmer proud right now with the songs I have playing.
Definitely.
So
I've got to admit, there's also a degree of diggy diggy hole that's in there as well at times. 2 hours on like the 2 hour version, just diggy diggy hole, just like da, 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 because I'm just crazy.
oh, I could just imagine you have Waluigi going wow for 15 hours playing in the background sometimes. Especially with some of the ads you do for the Lit RPG groups, because those are just perfect. Jessica, if you've never seen any of the ads he does for like his promotion stuff on any of the Lit RPG groups, you should definitely go and look at them because they are fantastic. Never in my life did I think I was going to be seeing Jez with tassels on and in heart boxers posing to promote a book for Valentine's Day.
I have no shame.
And it was perfect.
absolutely
It was
no shame.
absolutely perfect. It was my favorite thing I saw on Valentine's Day.
It's more like ta-da.
And I got drunk and played Overwatch on Valentine's Day. So that was
That's great.
God. Joel, why don't you take over for a minute because I need to recoup.
brain.
Sure.
Reach your brain.
Did we want to start on alphas?
We can talk about Alpha, yeah.
All right. So, Jez, why don't you tell us a little bit about alphas? Like a short summary.
Okay. Well, Steve is Steve. It starts off the story starts off with Steve, and basically, if we're looking at Steve's background, he is not a very nice person. He's an alright guy. He's made some mistakes though, and he's tried to basically get on with his life. He's ex-army. He's an ex-enforcer as well. He's broken a lot of laws. He's basically his life's gone to shit a bit, and he gets the opportunity to do a bank job. And I don't mean work behind the counter. I mean rob the fucker. So he goes out and he does this. But the thing is that he's been told that there's a certain amount of money there that they're all going to get, and this is enough to sort his life out, essentially. And when they do the job, yeah, there's not that amount of money. He's been lied to. And there's a fraction of it. The amount of money that he's expecting to walk away with is the total of the money that they've got. So, he has no loyalty to these people, and his life has gone down the toilet, so he just goes, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to have that money. Bye-bye. And he takes it. And he goes via Toronto and Vancouver and so on, and goes and gets lost. Deliberately loses himself in the world and hides because, you steal a great deal of money from some very bad people. They're going to come looking for you. So he ends up in the island of Crete, in the Greek islands, which is where I spent quite a few years. So he goes there and he essentially just starts working in a bar. He's loving life. He's floating around the ocean by the day. He works in a little bar on night time, gets drunk as much as he wants, parties, has this money sitting in the bank, and he's essentially got his life back. This is great. And then he meets a couple of girls swimming along on the beach. Hey, this is going even better, hey, possibly tonight could be a good night. And then he leaves to go to work. And when he's leaving, when he's riding the bike away, he sees that the girls have been caught by a riptide. And where he is, he's now up in the cliffs, he's up above the water, and he's got two choices. Either he can just ride the fuck on, or he can not, because if he rides down and then gets off his bike, runs down the beach to dive in the water, there's not a cat in hell's chance he's going to get there before it's all over. So instead he decides, fair enough, this is the way it is. I can't let this go. So he rides his bike straight off the cliff and jumps from the handlebars out into the sea and saves the two girls, which is great. But the problem is that he then goes viral. There's a family that are climbing up the side of the cliff, up the steps, and are filming these girls going down, and they're panicking, don't know what to do, and they catch him riding past. Big buff guy, motorbike, rides off a cliff, dives into the sunset, saves the girls. It's seriously going to do well on TikTok or anything else. The problem he's got is that the other enforcers out there want their fucking money, and they're going to come looking for him. And that's basically the start of it. From there, he finds nanotechnology, which gives him a bit of an edge. He discovers a lot of the truth about our past as a species, and a lot of the things we've been told of very much the way things are really aren't. But it's just because we haven't found out the truth yet. And along the way, he meets a very nice girl and some very, very bad men and some very bad women as well, and fucks them all up.
Yeah. So let's
Literally and
definitely-
physically.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's dive into the mechanics, because that's one thing that I am absolutely in love with Lit RPG, and that's sort of my thing on the show, is delving into mechanics. So yeah, the nanite technology that he uses, it sort of has a history to it, where there's people who have it in their genes pretty much, and they are like these immortals who sort of shape history. And there's a lot of things that they talk about, that happened back in time, that basically shapes the world. Mythology, they talk about werewolves, vampires, which are lesser immortal, pretty much, experiments. And yeah, so there's this like hidden world to like the reality, um, and I love that. It definitely is great world building.
Thank you, Ed. I mean, the whole idea of it is that nanites are that essentially humanity is a bioweapon. That's what we were designed as. We were designed by others, which you'll find out more about later on, as a bioweapon. And we were tested. We were given additional nanites. We were artificially upraised, and then we were given nanites to see what happened. Our creators were using nanites as weapons, and they gave their weapons nanites. And they made a vast mistake because humanity doesn't really take direction very well. But we do take rage-induced psychosis brilliantly to heart. And the first generation essentially wiped the floor with everything they came against, and massive armies were raised to take out the first generation. And after that point, those that were doing research were immediately banned and were exiled and were stuck on Earth. The current generation of ours, essentially, we've had thousands of generations since then, hundreds of thousands of generations, and every so often we'll get an evolution. We'll change. The nanites in us are the same nanites that have always been there. The difference is that they've been miscategorized as different blood cells and so on because when you go searching, when people are making up, oh well, this is a red blood cell, this is a white blood cell, they don't go, oh that's a piece of technology, let's investigate into that. They go, well, all of this is in us, it's always been in us, so it's just been accepted that it's there. Things like the vampires, the werewolves, and so on are potential weapons. They are different designs. The human race was a sort of a baseline, and these are all augmentations that were designed as different weapons variants. They didn't work, or they did work, and through some trick of genomes, over thousands of generations, this gene has triggered, this nanite gene is triggered there, and so the vampires have been created, the different races have been created. Those that can absorb nanites are the sort of the primary race, are the big bad guys and the good guys, but they've developed nanites. But the secret that comes out later on is that they are absorbing nanites and they are building them, they are generating more, but they're also crap because they haven't been unlocked, they haven't been cleaned and purged. So they're building tens of thousands of billions of nanites in their bodies all the time, which are making them stronger, faster, smarter. But they're also building up this backlog of crap, and they have been for millennia. So when it gets to a certain point, they are essentially just fossilizing. But if you can unlock that, which is where Steve's getting a bit scared when he's figuring things out, is because he's learning and he's becoming this powerful guy who can take on a lot of these guys one-on-one. At the moment, he's only a year into it, if that. But if these guys who've been running for ages, for like 10,000 years, ever unlock theirs, they'd be like an order of magnitude more powerful. So
Yeah.
So the nanites, they work more as like experience points in a video game. For him to become more stronger and everything, he has to get more nanites.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the aspect that because the character is immortal, the story gets really dark when it comes to the challenges that he has to fight. He's basically just even when he gets his powers, he's basically ripped to shreds and replaced with nanites. And they describe the whole process in the book. But yeah, so I definitely love that aspect of like, okay, we're gonna turn it up to 11 because he basically can't really die. So
yeah, he's I won't go too far into details, but he is tortured repeatedly and badly.
The scene where he gets the nanites and everything it's a hard scene. And so Jess, you actually did you release it right before I moved? Because I'm pretty sure that's what I listened to on the car ride when I moved from Colorado back to my hometown. Let me look real
I've
quick.
I've slept since then.
So I will say one thing that I really love in book series is whenever the main character goes from being tortured to being a badass. Like in Tokyo Ghoul at the end of season 1 or whatever, uh he's just realizes that he's not going to take the shit anymore, and he like just destroys the main villain. Spoiler, sorry. But no, and that kind of happens towards the end of book 1 as well. Is this like he's not going to take it anymore and just destroys all the guys that are just have been messing with him.
So yeah, you did release it on July 5th. I moved on July 8th. So that's what I was. That's what I listened to for part of the car ride home because I was like, oh yeah, this is really not gonna put me to sleep at all because holy shit.
But that's down to Chris and Jessica as well.
No, the performances are
did some
fantastic.
amazing work with it.
They are, and I mean the entire ride. Joel was like, "Hey, now's the perfect time to start He Who Fights with Monsters." And I was like, no, no.
I don't remember that.
No, dude, you've been grinding me to say, "Hey,
Oh yeah, no, you definitely should start it, but
mother." I have. I'm on like book 3. Leave me alone. I have other books I'm listening to.
yeah, our backlog is crazy.
It's really crazy. And Justin Thomas James has sent us a couple more codes for stuff to listen to, and it's like,
It's a doggo.
it is a doggo. So Jess, we haven't heard from you in a second. What who's one of your favorite characters from the Arise series? Who would you have to say is like your either one you narrate for or like what just one of the characters in general?
I mean, I love Ingrid, obviously. I think that she is a lot of fun, and it's always fun to do like a really interesting accent and everything. I also really loved the like doctor who was like evil, like the one that administered like the tests and everything. Just because I was just like, I don't know, I like playing evil characters sometimes, and that was just fun. So
She's sort of evil. She's basically the thing is that obviously these guys are they've been around for thousands of years, so their view of humanity, the standard version of humanity, is we're fucking we're like a bit of entertainment for them. 10 minutes later we're gone. It doesn't really matter. Nothing that happens matters on that scale. So they just don't care what happens to us. But the Doctor's supposed to be sort of she's not evil, but she's very much like she's removed from the sort of experimentation because she didn't want to go too far with things, but because she didn't want to taint the results as well. It was more of like she just want to fuck with the results than.
Yeah. I think I was combining her with Victoria for a second because now I'm looking because like listen, I have always 10 books living in my brain at all times. So
That's
my
fair.
brain was going, okay, wait, let me hold on. So Victoria, who's the fake wife, and I also was going, am I mixing things with a prototype at this point?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the Doctor was a lot of fun, and I do now that you mentioned like they're more removed. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then Victoria, like the fake wife, was just that one was fun.
Are we talking about Artemis?
No.
Or okay.
Victoria, yeah.
Because I'm like
when he's being captured and he's being drugged, and she
There's so many characters.
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah.
So earlier today, I was doing some cleaning around the house because my mom is getting ready to come visit, and my grandma came over and was like, "We got to make sure it's like to the level because if your mom comes in and sees like one thing out of place, she's gonna freak out on you, even though it's your place." Yep, I know. And I was listening to the book through my Bluetooth speaker, not through my AirPods like I normally do. And it was at the part where they are at the hotel and Lars says, "Come on, guys, we gotta go." And Steve goes, "Oh, he's not ruining my fucking fun." And I was like, "Oh, God. Oh, no. Pause the book. Pause the book. Pause the book." Because my grandma just looked at me from across the house. I was like, "I forgot. I'm sorry."
Your first problem was listening to it on your Bluetooth speaker.
Dude, I was doing dishes and stuff, and I didn't want my AirPods to fall into the water again. Okay, like it's
The
happened
fact that you had to
once.
say it again is kind of funny.
I don't want to talk about it. I need a new pair at this point. So yeah, that was an experience, and then of course I ended at the part, or I put it back in my over to my AirPods because I finally finished the dishes, and I got up to the part where Steve is going to rescue the lady that's being trafficked, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Oh God,
Oh yeah.
it is brutal.
But there's scenes like that because that is a sad reality of life. But it's things like that that you get. People then ding me for it and give me like bad reviews because like you shouldn't write things like that, and it's like, well, that's life. I don't like it, but I'm drawing attention to the fact that this fucking happens.
Yeah.
So
Let's see real quick.
It's
I'm trying to
true, it
remember what
yeah.
chapter that's in because he talks there. There's a specific quote that he talks about in it, and I gotta find it really quick because I didn't want to highlight it in my book because I don't like highlighting in books because
yeah,
yeah like I don't want to ruin the book. Is it?
So I will say, I don't know about anyone else here, but for me, Ingrid really reminded me of like a mix between like the main female in like Indiana Jones and
Oh
like
yeah.
uh
I can see
I
that.
don't know, maybe like Wonder Woman without her powers. Like a strange mix between those two.
the Gal Gadot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one quote that I loved. Don't run, I said flatly. You'll only die tired. Yep, that's Steve. He's a badass. Oh my god.
Yeah, and he
it was a
just goes
clue.
absolutely ham in book 2.
No,
Yeah.
in the series he goes absolutely ham. I think Steve is my favorite of the main protagonists that you write.
I'm really looking forward to getting back because my plan is I'm finishing off the Cyberpunk because I'm nearly finished the first book. The Cyberpunk is a 2-book series,
Okay.
and there's 4 of us. There's Sean Chapman, Lars McMullen, and Kevin Sinclair, and I are all writing 2 books each,
Okay.
and it's all going to release sort of August, September, October. They're all going to be released by. So it's literally they're all going to drop over that period.
Is there going to be like a simultaneous audiobook release as well, or like?
I don't know about audio. The audio we've got plans for, but obviously it's down to these bloody lazy narrators. I mean, how dare they be so busy? No, it's literally a case of there's obviously release schedules. So many people are so busy that it's when everybody can fit in. Because even if say like Jess and Chris, I know have booked in time for it, but I can't speak for the narrators for the other guys who who might be booked out a year in advance. So it's all of them are going to drop when they can. That's all I can say with audio.
I was just saying like specifically for like yours, so Joel and I have something to listen to on the way to Dragon Con. Wink, wink.
I do not know. There's plans for it, but when it actually comes, I don't know. It's down to sort of a lot of things. So, but it's a case of as soon as I've finished with the Cyberpunk, which I should be finished writing in about 2 months thereabouts.
I can't
hopefully.
wait. From what I've
I'm
read so
gonna be
far, it's
starting to
so
write
damn
over-
good.
It's good. It's good fun.
I like it. But I think
But
I'm
then
also
again-
kind of biased when it comes to like some of the stuff I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this versus like, just because I go through a lot and I'm like, I say don't sleep on this series a lot. But here's the thing. There's a lot of series I feel do get slept on. So I don't want them to get slept on because they're too damn good. I've slept on series that have become my favorite. Like System Apocalypse. I slept on that series for way too long. And then
Now round 1 was fantastic.
Oh, Tao he is so nice too. We had him on the show and I got to talk to him and John was the first like main character that I really felt like I could connect to just because of everything that's happening. Like he gets angry really quickly. It deals with him being bisexual and all this stuff. And I'm like, there's not a lot of characters that I can connect to like that, and he was the first one, and it instantly grabbed me in. I have finally finished it because finale came out, and now I need something to replace that hole.
Yeah.
I will say I did start re-listening to System Apocalypse, and whenever you were talking about doing IT earlier, I think there's a line in System Apocalypse that says it's like K2 or 12 issue or something, and it's like
An ID
it's
10T.
yeah,
Yeah.
12 inches from the keyboard is where the problem is.
Pebcas.
Yeah,
Problem exists between keyboard and seat.
yeah.
There's a lot of that in IT. There's a lot of those kind of acronyms where it's a case of, this looks like a Pebcast problem. This looks like an ID 10T problem. Yeah.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and start wrapping up here soon because we're coming up on that time limit. And Jez, I know you need to go and get dinner.
Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock here, so I'm gonna get dinner soon.
We should probably start wrapping it up. So Joel and I like to do this little thing of, hey, what you been reading? So we can start with whoever wants to go first. Jez, Jessica, which one wants to go first?
I went first the first time,
All right.
so I'm gonna say Jez.
Hey, Jez, what you been reading?
What I obviously with launching the publishing house recently, I've been reading a lot of submissions. So I can't really talk about those at this stage.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But I have been recently. I've been listening to, reading and listening to Stray Cat Strut,
Okay.
which is brilliant samurai cyberpunk. I really enjoyed that. That's by Raven's Dagger, and if you haven't tried Stray Cat Strut, I think it's on offer at the moment as well. And another one that is brilliant that's just come out in audio and that I know is on offer at the moment. It's on one of the sales that's going on. Is Kevin Sinclair's God of the Feast.
That one is fantastic.
And, yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin Sinclair. I need to reach out to him at some point. But shout out to Kevin Sinclair.
I finished book 1 in that series. I need to go back and finish book 2 and 3.
The audio is on sale at the moment, I think, and book 3 just literally released a couple of days ago, so it's a good time for it.
Okay, all right. That's gonna be added to the backlog because Harmon Cooper's World According to Dragons comes out I think tomorrow, and I'm like, I need it because Harmon Cooper, love him. So,
Yeah.
Jessica, we're gonna
Yes.
switch over to you, and this because you are a narrator. This literally can go for projects that you have narrated too. So,
Yeah.
Hey,
Great.
Jess, what have you been reading?
So for narrating, I have been reading book 6 of Valen's Heritage by John Van Stry.
Okay.
We've been working on that. So we should be wrapping that tomorrow, which is really awesome. So many characters. The next project I will be the other project I'll be doing this month is Smash the System. With Chris, which is by System Lad, and it's really cool because the last 3/4 of the book is set at Walt Disney World, which makes me very happy because I'm a Disney adult through and through. And yeah, and other than that, this month I've worked on Top Tier Privateer Book 3 for Marcus Sloss, and I will be doing what's the name of it? Cultivation Academy, Omega Cultivation Academy. I cannot remember the exact title right now off the top of my head. It's Austin Beck, but I'll be doing that as well.
Ooh.
And for pleasure reading, I've actually been reading Brene Brown's Daring Greatly.
Okay.
A lot of self-help books lately for me. And then, what's my next one on my list? What was it? I have one on my list that's actually a fiction book, but I can't remember what it is right now off the top of my head. So
Well,
it's on my bedside, ready to read.
Sorry, Lunar meowed really loudly for some reason. I didn't know what was up. And of course, you have
Aw.
the Monster Hunters Interns by Stephen Landry and
Yeah.
Jeffrey Falcon coming out very soon.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's such a good book.
When he told me, he goes, "Oh yeah, Jessica's narrating," that I was like, okay, instant buy. Like that is an instant pickup. Like I was picking it up regardless, but that was an instant. Like that's an instant pickup.
It's really such a cool story. I'm really excited to see what people think about it because I loved it. Like I'm reading it, going, "Oh my!" There's one part where I had to stop recording, and I go, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" And then I kept going because I got really excited. I probably like.
If
Yeah,
you haven't read any of his other books, his Stardiver series is awesome. I highly recommend that, especially Myra's Song. It's a part of the main series, but it's also like a spinoff. It's really good. It is really good.
All right, I'll write that down.
So, and then of course we'll go over to Joel. Joel, tell me about this list that you're just gonna increase my backlog because you're gonna be like, oh, you haven't started that yet? No, I haven't.
No, well, I did get this recommended to me by Chris
Dagny.
Yeah. Path of Ascensions. I read book 1 and 2 of that.
So good.
Was
that one is really
so good. Rivers of Fate. That was a book that Zach did, and
shout out to Zachary Johnson.
Us a copy. We love Zach here. It's a cultivation, and it was really good. I loved it. Snake's Rule. Finally got around finishing that. Stain came out recently. Not sure if you are a Everybody Loves the Large Chess fan, but I did read that, and it was chef's kiss. All the skills. It is a card-based lit RPG, but I think out of the books I've read recently is probably my favorite. So do with that what you will. I also read Dawn of the Void. I think it's like Nemesis System or something like that. I had that reference to me on one of the social medias. And yeah, I love that. Love the mechanics in that. It's like it's good. Just read it and find out. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to, other than going back and re-listening to System Apocalypse, which is what I'm listening to now. But yeah, Rich, what you been reading?
Okay, so I gotta go through my list here really quickly. I finally finished Proxima Legends because Harmon Cooper sent me the a copy of it for Volume 1, and it's absolutely fantastic. Such a good book. I was just waiting to get closer to Volume 2 releasing before I finished it, and then I was like, no, I need to go back to the Proxima books. I finished up the first arc in the Firth Chronicles by Shami Stovall because I found out about that series when she was on Lit RPG Legion with Jez, which was awesome episode. I picked up Big Sneaky Barbarian. I haven't gotten through it yet, but it's pretty solid so far. I finished Fateless Book 1 by Martin McKenzie because I got sent a code from Portal, and it was awesome, narrated by Neil Helgers, and I absolutely love Neil. Forge Sorcerer by Christopher Johns. Great book. Then, of course, I just did my re-listen of Alpha. I picked up Thule, the Fast Food Barbarian, because I was like, you know what? I just need like a silly harem book. I don't need anything like super.
Listen to that one.
Thule is just Conan, and it is fantastic because he does the guy who narrates for it. Which what is his name? What is it? Wayne Kelly. He just does an Arnold impression the entire time. Oh, pretty human. Like it's fantastic the entire time, and I was cackling. And Virgil Knightley on Twitter was like, "It's dumb fun," and it was. It was absolute dumb fun, and I think those are some of the best. Next on my listen list, though, I think I'm going to power through Lottery King by Eric Ball because I have that, and it's been on my list. I need to listen to it. Also narrated by Jessica here. So, but yeah. Oh, and then of course I'm catching up on Eternal Dominion by Bernstein because those books are just great. Oh, if you need a good just quick listen, those are definitely a good choice. And that's really all I got for what I've been listening to. I don't know if I missed anything or not. Oh, I listened to Stain, and then the spinoff for Everybody Loves Large Chess, that is Small Chests Are Fine Too, was absolutely awesome. And it's on the Soundbooth Theater. It's really, really good. So yeah, that's it. Now the fun game of, hey, where can people find you? So hey Jess, where can people find you on social media?
Find me on basically on my on Facebook mostly. As Jess Cajiao author, or on Lit RPG Legion. You can find us on there. We're pretty active in both. You can find me on Discord. You can find me in the back of any of the books. So there's links there, especially on the ebooks, to where I am. I'm on Instagram, but I never use the fucker. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. I'm too fucking busy for that shit. I literally write. That's pretty much it. I write and I have my wife and kids, and I don't have much time for everything else. So I do lives every 2 weeks, and I occasionally drink a fuck ton of rum.
The lives are really good too if you ever need to, like, especially when you're at work at 4 p.m. on a Sunday and you just need a good laugh, tune into one of them, because that's what I do. It escapes me from reality for an hour.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy them, mate.
Oh, they're great. And Miss Jessica, where can people find you on social media?
Yes, everything is basically at Jessica D Threet, JESSICADTHREET. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I mainly only use Instagram and TikTok. I rarely use Facebook because I started doom scrolling and becoming depressed on Facebook, so I basically turned off my notifications. So everything just gets forwarded to there. As well as Twitter, I don't really use it because, again, it's just a lot of negative things, so I just kind of forward my stuff to those two places. But I mainly interact with people on Instagram and TikTok.
Can confirm about the TikTok, especially if you're wanting premium Disney adult content. That's where you want to go, because Jessica posts the best Disney adult stuff. Like she is a through and through a Disney adult, and it's so wholesome, and I love it.
Thank you. Listen, one of my lifelong goals is to be a voice on a Disney TV show or a Disney movie. Like, that's one of my top goals in my life. So
what you're saying is every time you post something, I'll just go tag Dan from Phineas and Ferb, and we'll just try to get that going. All right, cool. Just got this. New challenge accepted. Hey Joel. Hey Joel.
Yeah.
Joseph Harvey. Joel, my buddy, old boy. Co-host.
That's me.
Where can people find you?
You can find me across the internet as at Sir Valor Hunter, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Twitch, Twitter, Discord. Yeah.
And also, if you guys
me.
join the Stats on Stats Discord, I'll post a link on Twitter later. You can read some of Joel's stuff that he's been writing.
I did start writing.
So yeah, he's got 2 chapters posted. So guys, get in there and read it, because we're going to be doing some narration stuff with that soon. Just
They're
saying.
the alphas, so don't judge me too harshly.
No,
I'm
that's
just
my
trying
job.
to get the ball rolling.
That's my job. I'm the one who's supposed to judge them, because it's friendly judging.
I'm excited about it. It's got a good premise to it. I'm just doing that pantser thing by the seat of my pants and seeing where the story goes.
The way to do it. It's definitely the way to do it.
It is the way to do it. Anything else, Mr. Harvey?
Nope, that's it, I think.
Okay.
Hey,
cool.
Rich.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can always find me at Rich Dolphus on Twitter, because I post really bad takes. That's my brand. I got to stay on the gimmick at this point. You can also find me at Rich. Actually, it's Rich Dolphus pretty much across the board, between Xbox, Steam, Twitter. I'm also in charge of the Stats on Stats Twitter, because Joel doesn't do Twitter stuff. That's me. And yes, I see Hunter commenting in the chat saying it's true because I do post bad takes. Like, my biggest take that everyone hates me for is I don't think Christopher Nolan is a good director. And I don't think the Dark Knight trilogy is a good Batman trilogy. Just saying. Like, it's... I will die on that hill. Like, it's...
You will.
I will. Yes, you can go ahead and boo me. That's fine. Like, it's fine, Zeckler. I can take away that mod power. I'm going to get my ass beat at Dragon Con. I already feel it, but it's okay. I deserve it, but it's fine.
We're all gonna dress up as Batman and kick your ass. That's what's gonna
Hey, you can dress up as Batman.
The acting is so good.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm defending myself here. So, the way I see it, I only care about
and
the villains.
we don't have time for this.
No. We do have time for this. I do not care about Christian Bale as Batman or Bruce. Alfred is great because it's Michael Caine. Michael Caine can never do anything wrong. That's fine. I'm not watching this movie for Alfred. I want to see some comic book shit happening, and I don't get that. I get realistic Batman. I don't want realistic Batman.
See, I watch Batman for the villains.
And that's another thing.
I like
The
Batman
villains are
for the
great.
villains.
The villains are great. That's fine. But I want more Batman. So
I don't care about him.
Like-
I don't care about Batman.
like,
I
here's
care
the
about
thing.
Joker.
And Heath Ledger, may he rest in peace, did a great job. He's the only thing that saves that movie, though. That's all I got.
And also, Cillian or Killian Murphy did a fantastic job as Scarecrow too.
Okay, yes, he did, but still, once again, the story is like all over the place. I've tried to watch The Dark Knight so many times since, like, because I loved it when it first came out, but as time's gone on, I'm just like, oh my god, I hate this movie. I
don't watch
movie.
them all. Maybe I should rewatch them and see if my opinions still hold up.
I can't make it through it. I fall asleep every time, and it's always at the same part. It's right when he gets to Shanghai, and I'm just like it's just like that's just how it goes. Like
I'm excited for the Foley. Is it Folie à Deux? That's the new Joker movie that's gonna have Lady Gaga in
I
it.
will wait until it comes out on DVD because that's what I did with the first Joker because that movie made me super uncomfortable, which I get. That's the point. But I had to pause it so many times that I was like, oh, I gotta prepare.
Yep.
Oh, no. But I am excited because Joaquin Phoenix did a great job and Lady Gaga's going to kill it as Harley. So
Yep.
I will say that I am a fan of that. I loved the Robert Pattinson Batman. Matt Reeves Batman. That was great. Dark Knight, not a fan. I would rather watch Clooney and Batman and Robin before I watch Christian Bale. Yeah, that's...
You'd rather watch Mr. Nipples?
Uh-huh. Hey, Val Kilmer's suit had bat nipples too, but no one batted an eye, so just saying.
Yeah.
Because the acting distracted you.
The lack thereof. Right then, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
we're,
yes,
nope,
yes,
we're
yes.
ending the show now, so we got it. Everyone, thank you for tuning in today, and also thank you, Jez and Jessica, for tuning in and joining us today to talk random stuff and everything. We love your guys' work. You do a fantastic job. And for everyone
Thank you.
watching, thank you.
Thanks for having us. It's been great fun.
We will be live again. Actually, I think it's just going to be me going live because Joel will be on vacation. But I will be live. I want to say it's next week on the 20th with the 19th with Mr. Dan Wisniewski because shout out to
I
Dan.
should be here for that.
I thought you were going to be on vacation. We'll talk more about it. But hey,
Okay.
everyone, have a great night. Thank you.